So, if you've been wondering why people are not visiting your salon and fewer people are walking in and booking an appointment with you, even if your services are amazing, I want to let you know that you are absolutely not alone. I can definitely say that all of our businesses have felt some kind of pinch in a weird time, right? Where they usually don't feel a pinch. Now, most of them have recovered. Pretty much the majority of them are back to growing. But I want you to understand that there is something that you can do about it. That even though there are seasonal changes in every business, 2025 is a year like no other. And this is the economic shift that no one is really talking about, because consumers are spending more cautiously in 2025. Things like inflation, automation, and online convenience have really reshaped how people shop and then how they spend. Okay, so walk-ins are down not because of you, but because of macroeconomic and tech shifts. It's really painful, but a lot of people are losing jobs. And people at the end of the day, when they are going to spend their hard-earned money, the money that may not even be there that much anymore, people are going to choose familiarity and trust over randomness. So this is why it's super important for you to understand what I'm about to talk to you about today. Because if they don't know you, then they won't try you. It's going to be a lot harder to get a new customer than it is ever before. So we need to really help you understand how to help people know, like, and trust you. So what most salons get wrong is, number one, they wait for traffic instead of building a client base. Now, I know you may say, okay, well, Dia, that's not really for me. I have my client base. But let me ask you a question. When was the last time that you knew what your customer needed before they needed it? Like before someone had to call you and say, hey, I want to book an appointment. But you know who knows exactly what you want even before you need it? Amazon, YouTube. A lot of these platforms study our behavior, and they study and get to know what we know, we like, and we trust, and they give it to us even before we think we need them. And so that is one of the critical things that you have to remember as you build your salon base and as you want more people to engage with you, that you need to meet them well before they are ready to book their next service. So that way you are top of mind. Now that's really important. I just want you to save that for your marketing brain, and we'll touch on that in a few other videos. But that's one of the most critical things that you want to remember, and it's where 99% of salon owners go wrong, okay? And number two, relying on third-party platforms that own the relationship. So I'm talking about Vagaro, Yelp, and all of these really cool platforms. But once again, if Vagaro goes down, if your Yelp goes down, if your other platforms just simply you don't want to use them anymore, you still need a way to be able to communicate with your client base. So I always coach my clients, you do not want to play the algorithm game your whole life. And even though we sell like algorithmic help and helping you understand algorithms and put you on the platform, help you make money via the algorithm, I don't encourage it. Why? Because the best businesses do not solely rely on the algorithm. They rely on deplatforming. So what that means is getting you as a customer into their domain, whether that be their website, whether that be their email list, whether that be your text message, because those are pretty much the three things. You want to get that person into a more intimate space, so that way you're not reliant on a third party to reach your customers. That's really important, especially as people tighten up their pockets, okay? You want to build a relationship. So that's one of the things that, for example, we have a salon owner that is launching 2 other locations. It would have been a nightmare had she have not had her CRM together, which she didn't. She was just relying on Square that just kind of bunched all her clients up. But the minute that I sat down with her business and I said, a business at your size is at a colossal risk if you do not implement a good CRM system to understand what your customers have purchased, when was the last time they purchased with you, and then what is the frequency of how often that person comes. You are literally sending them to your competitors. So I did the research, got a really good CRM for her that is actually really affordable, that I love. But something that's simple, that's easy to use. She doesn't have to change everything else about her business, but she can track the most critical things about her business. And guess what she's using to launch her other locations? The database and the CRM that we've implemented for her. And she wouldn't be able to do that. She would have to rely even on Google. She would have to rely on every other traffic source. But because 3 to 4 months in advance, we started to track every consumer that came in. She now has over 1,000 people that are ready to buy with her again. So she does not have to go through an algorithm. She can just contact them directly and get booked and busy for her second salon, which is amazing. So the third thing is failing to collect client data or do follow-ups. Now, as much as I love y'all, like I always say in every single video, you are a Fortune 500 company. Every company that you shop with, it doesn't matter. I like to use Chick-fil-A because I love to eat Chick-fil-A. But it doesn't matter if you're Chick-fil-A or if you're another place. They will ask you for your number, to join their app, to get on their email list, something, because they want to be able to follow up with you and they want to be able to reach you. And as much as I care for you, the Square follow-up is not always enough. You need to be a marketer, because that is what's going to help you when everyone else is not focusing on marketing. That is what's going to get you to be top of mind. So when the person is ready to buy, they don't think, let me go to this platform. They think, oh, look at this person. They just dropped in my inbox 2 weeks before I knew I needed a new blowout. You knew that because you had intelligent follow-up. So that's the importance of client data and follow-ups. And then number 4, not using automation. And just let's be really, really simple. Just putting stuff in ChatGPT is not going to cut it. People are desensitized to all this AI mumbo jumbo. So it really needs to be personalized and it needs to sound like you. Creating videos, doing all of those things will help you overcome missed revenue opportunities. So if you don't have a database, you are really shooting in the dark, and it's going to be very difficult to build your business. You will essentially just have a chair for you to do services, but you won't be a business that survives in 2025. So we're going to talk about next why your database is absolutely king. So now that you understand the importance of data, I want you to understand that your database is king. It's no longer just content, your database, okay? So I'm gonna just explain to you a few cheap and easy, simple ways that you can do this without breaking the bank, without having to purchase another tool, all of that good stuff. One of the things that I always encourage, especially for my businesses that are pretty much balling on a budget, is Google Forms, okay? Because Google Forms allow you to capture the necessary information, and it's simple, it's easy to use. Almost everybody has a Gmail. So that's a place where you can gather information. You can gather things like birthdays, visit history. When was the last time you visited me? Is this your first time? Different preferences, because you can use all of that information. And hear me out, even if you don't use that today, right? You can use all of that information when you get your CRM. So you can add them, you can filter their email list by, hey, this person only comes to me for blowouts. So that you can use AI to do all of this. And I wouldn't recommend doing it in any like regular chat GPT. And this is just me kind of being a nerd, but needing to tell you this, because chat GPT is going to take your information and they are basically going to resell it to the highest bidder. So the person that knows how to sell, to really understand the back end of GPT, they're going to take it and they're going to, create a SaaS company or create something based off of your business. So I want you to be really careful with your data. This is why I always recommend like using Gemini, but on the business plan, because the business plan will allow you to not have your information trained for public use. This is critical because you want to protect what you're doing and not like let the whole world know your strategy and your customers' information. So just be careful about that, okay? But going back to that key point, that Google form is going to capture as much information. And what's a better time than when somebody just walks in? They don't know your process. This is perfect for them because it's going to allow you and them to create a deeper relationship. And when it comes time to really like kicking butt at marketing, you're going to use all of that information to basically feel like, and I always say this, you want to feel like you're hugging your customer, right? You want to be there at the times where it's important to be there. So if I know a salon that knows to remind me, hey, it's time to get your blowout done because your ends are going to start, spreading apart, or it's time to get your braid redone because you want to protect your edges, that's what we're moving into. Personalization. So the deeper relationship you have with your customers that's based off of the data that you have about them, the more you don't have to rely on every other marketing campaign, and the more that they know, they like, they trust you, and they spend their money with you. Okay, so it's not going to be all this TikTok and all that stuff. It's going to be the person that knows, that understands the consumer, that the consumer likes, and that they trust. And trust is consistent. Trust is deep. It's no longer wide. Okay, so use a Google form. It's free to sign up for a business plan. I think it's like $10-15. It makes you look professional, and you can do so much with Google. I cannot even tell you, but when I tell you it's the cheapest way to build your business, it is one of the cheapest and best ways to build your business. And number 2, we really talked about this, is personalized follow-ups, emails that feel human. I will always open up an email like I need to go through an email purge, but you and I both know that, the creator that's using GPT, you're like, I can go to GPT and find that information, versus the creator that's like giving you their freshness, their heart, and all that good stuff. So one of the places where I don't always recommend all types of automations, especially, and hear me out here, especially if your AI is not trained for that specific function, not just trained to sound like you, because that's great, but if it's not trained just for email automation, then the content gets diluted because other people are using it. Like millions of people are using the same thing, okay? But people don't want that. They want originality because these things still sell. So you need to understand that your email should feel human. If you don't have an automation that is not built out for you specifically, just don't use it. Just pre-write it and send it out, because you want people to get to know you. People don't want to feel like they're being shortcutted when it comes to that human connection, because that is what's going to help you convert. Okay, so emails that feels human, text that feel human. I don't care about auto-generated text messages, but what I do care is if you know me and you really are trying to create a relationship with me, even if you use AI. So we'll talk about how to do that intelligently. But for now, if you don't have that skill set, do not AI it, okay? Because it'll sound horrible. And number 3, this is something that, oh my goodness, this is your gym. If you can really do this, then I mean, you might not need me today. Okay, so if you can do this, if you can create a local content strategy where you post once a week, or you post a short form video, and listen to me, not one that lives on TikTok, not one for Instagram, not one, all of those things are designed for people that are just browsing. I'm talking about content that is designed for when people are looking for the best box braids. You can walk them through a tutorial of how to, how the best box braids are done in insert your city. That kind of content is number one going to show up local to you. And this is like the cool part about being a part of this community, I'm going to give you facts before they're even facts, okay? Because we live, eat, and breathe this stuff. Because video content is the future, because all of the text things can pretty much be automated, that video that you have living right now, that's going to take off if you do it the right way, right? With a bit of video SEO. But that video is going to take off. And so whenever someone comes to your city, if it's on a platform that's evergreen, if you don't know what evergreen is, watch the video that I just recorded that talks about scalable lead systems. It actually has a section that will break down what evergreen is. But long story short, if it's not a video that I can find in 10 years from now, you don't want to post it there, because that content is not going to give you enough ROI. So a platform like YouTube, I can record today, my grandkids can find it, right? So that's the platform that you want to be on. So when people are looking to purchase in your city, because the algorithms love aged content, they will show you. Now, that was your free gem for the day. But you really, really want to develop a local content strategy, because that's going to build a moat around your business. That means that because you are doing it faster, better than most people, and because most people are not even doing that strategy, when everybody starts to run to do that strategy, you'll already be there and you'll already be taking market share, which is the umbrella that we live under. We want to show you where you need to be before everybody else is there, and then get you the gains from just being the early mover. All right. And number 4, AI-driven reviews. Now, I always say this, once again, please do not do the put it in GPT randomly and get that information. The GPT really needs to feel like you, or else people are going to see that and they're going to say, give me a real person. Right? So when it comes to human interactions, be careful with what you automate, because you are going to give your customers a very sour taste over time. Okay? Now, you want to make sure that, again, you use local SEO, that is local search engine optimization. Long story short, it's where people go when they're ready to buy. Okay? You want to use that. So you want to push reviews to Google, your Google business profile, and Yelp. Now, I'm not going to sit and harp on that, because I can literally do a whole hour session on that in the way that the algorithm prioritizes it. But I will say, if there's not one thing that you've taken away from this, please take this away. Your reviews on Google are everything. And it's going to be harder to get good reviews to live on Google. So make sure you take advantage of this time and thank me in 3 to 4 weeks or in 6 weeks when people start to show up at your door. Okay, just thank me later. Okay, so you don't need to go viral. You really just need to focus on your zip code, keep the trust alive, and keep people coming back to you with your awesome service. So I'll give you an example. We have a business that is really booming. We have a few of them that are looking to franchise or looking to grow. So what we did was we automated, obviously, number one, we always train your AI to sound like you, to feel like you, to look like you, all of that good stuff. Because once you can do that, you can pretty much automate every other function, because it doesn't feel like AI, it really feels like a person. So we've spent a year and a half training and understanding how to train your AI and to get it done for the purposes of showing up locally, right? Something that feels like you, that feels like your essence. And then we pretty much automated her local SEO system, but we've added a human touch at the Silent Infinity, and she has seen an over 30 to 40% growth year over year, just by a few tips and strategies that we use within the local SEO system, but also within the Silent Infinity. So we just really want you to understand that you can use AI. There is a way to use AI. We use it every single day in our business, but we don't do it in a way that's generic. We do it with hyper personalization and with a singular focus on making you as much resources, as much ROI as possible with deep personalization. And she had all of that ROI without spending a dime on ads, okay? And she doesn't do any social media. You'll never find her on social media. So long story short, you can partner with us. We have a webinar that goes on. You can click the link description below. You can also fill out a form, and then we'll give you access to that webinar where we'll show you every single thing that we do. And even if you don't partner with us, at least you have the information before everyone else does. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.